हेलो फ्रेंड्स, आप सबका स्वागत है मेरे यूट्यूब चैनल में। वेलकम टू माय यूट्यूब चैनल एंड टुडे इज़ गोइंग टू बी माय सेकंड व्लॉग एंड द टॉपिक वुड बी IT सर्विस मैनेजमेंट in context of software engineering, in context of software development, in context of supporting the enterprise applications. I'm going to talk about what is IT service management, what are the objectives of IT service management, why this is useful, and why there is a need, what is the reason that large organizations of different industries invest heavily in creating, developing and maintaining a system of IT service management to support their IT applications. So आज का जो ये वीडियो है, this is going to be lengthy in duration because I'm going to cover a lot of topics related to IT service management, including the ITIL library, the interaction, incident, change, problem management, the different KPIs which are being measured as part of a IT service management contract. What are the business cases where IT service management applies, when exactly the IT service management comes into picture, and lot of other stuff. So friends, first of all, let's try to understand what is IT service management. So in context of IT, in context of software engineering, for any business application where business users are using it to perform day-to-day business operations which are critical in nature for the smooth running of the business as a whole. So the applications which are being used, the IT applications which are being used to perform such business operations, IT service management ensures that those applications are running without any problem, without any interruption, and to ensure the smooth running of business functions as a whole. Now, the applicability of IT service management or supporting business applications can be from a small side business, a medium sized business to a large enterprise. It applies everywhere. Even nowadays, you must have observed that many of the government services like electricity, water, your passport verification, all of them are also under the purview of IT service management. That is the reason that the moment you log a ticket or log a service request with the concerned department, you keep on receiving notifications informing you about the status of your work and the tentative timeline by which the department is looking forward to resolve your issues. This change of behavior is because these are the new ways of working for even those conventional organizations which were not using IT at all, maybe 5 to 10 years back. So it is IT service management is being used everywhere, and it starts the moment our application becomes live. For example, you have created a web application, for example, an e-commerce cart, and the moment you have made it public, it has gone live to perform actual transactions, the support system gets invoked through IT service management to help the users, the actual users, as well as the organization to manage the business affairs in a very smooth and straightforward manner. For any business application where the support mechanism is going to start for the business users, the real users, usually between the stage where the applications development work, the IT applications development work gets completed and it goes live, there is a phase which is known as transition to support. So transition to support is a phase where the development team who has developed an application or who has enhanced the application in terms of new features and functionalities does a transition of knowledge to the team who is going to support the application going forward. Usually, transition to support stage has three phases. The first one is knowledge transition, where the entire knowledge dump gets transferred from the development team to the support team in form of live knowledge transfer sessions, sharing of documentation, and discussions and question and answer rounds, based on which the supporting team can come up with documents like run book to start supporting the application. Within the transition to support phase, the next stage is job shadow. In job shadow, the development team keeps on working on the application whenever some issues comes or gets reported, resolves them, but the supporting team does I would say, assist them through shoulder, seeing what is going on, what kind of issue has come up, and how the development team associate has resolved it. Once the job shadow phase is over, which can be for 1 week, 2 week, or more than that, depending on the application's complexity and other business requirements, the third and important stage is reverse job shadow. In reverse job shadow, whenever those issues are being reported by the business users, the supporting team is expected to resolve them, whereas the development team sits beside them just to see how much knowledge they have gained and how much comfortable are they in supporting the application. In case there is an issue or the supporting team needs some help, the development team is there to help them. But the basic expectation starting from reverse job shadow is that the supporting team is going to be on their own in resolving the issues. So once this transition to support process is over, basically we seek a formal sign off from the supporting team that all the requirements have been met and now they are ready to support the application. So once the formal sign off is received, formally the application goes live, transition to support phase gets completed, and the supporting team is at the helm of affairs to support the application going forward. Once the supporting team starts working on the application, basically we have three different levels of support available for any enterprise IT application, which are L1, L2, and L3. L1 support team basically deals with such issues where, by referring to a documentation or by performing certain tasks by their own, they can resolve the issue of the user. One very generic example of an issue reported by business user is forget password, and it's being resolved by the L1 support team. So these are those kind of issues where you may not need the specialized knowledge of the application. Rather, you can follow certain steps and resolve an issue, or you can refer to the documentation and resolve the issue. So in terms of the complexity, L1 is considered as the least complex type of work for that particular application, although their role or significance of their role cannot be negated, because they are the frontline associates of your support team who are going to interact with the business users at the first place, and based on the knowledge the L1 team has, the maturity in terms of how many months they have already invested working as L1 team, there are high chances that they have the ability and they reserve the right to even create some of the larger or more complex issues as L1 issues and resolve them. So when someone reaches out to a L1 team or to a support team, the business user reaches out through an email or a phone. In both the cases, the moment the user contacts the L1 support team, an interaction gets created, because through email or through phone call, the L1 support team has interacted with the business user. So even if it is an issue which has later been resolved by the L1 team, or it is something which gets more attention or it has more complexity, in every case an interaction tickets gets created and interaction tickets get converted into incident. So the second level in the support hierarchy is L2. Now L2 means all those issues which need more specialized knowledge of the application, access to tools and business applications provided by the business users. To resolve issues related to those areas, L2 team comes into picture, and L2 team primarily deals with incidents. Now, incident can be understood in such a way that, for example, a running application somehow gets stopped working and one or more than one users have reported it. When the incident team goes back and check, there is certain power failure or certain software upgrade happening, due to which the application was not available for certain extent, and this can be informed to the users, and after some time, once the application comes up, the incident can be resolved as fixed. Another example can be, there are incidents which may not need any code changes. For example, when we develop an application, there are also certain configuration changes, certain parameters we set. Now, if there is some change by mistake or due to some reason, any of those configuration parameters have changed, the expected functionality may break. For example, one simple case can be triggering of an email. Now, triggering of email has somehow stopped due to the unavailability of a mail server or due to some configuration issues. So in this case, once the issue gets reported to the L2 team, they are going to look into it to see if everything is working fine, all the configuration settings are there or not. and if they find an issue, they will fix it. For example, enabling the mail server or making the required configuration changes. The issue will get resolved and this will be considered as fixed. So anything where no code change is required to fix an issue is something which is basically related to an incident. And as a best practice, whenever you are dealing with incidents, you should always follow the life cycle of, first of all, acknowledgement of the incident through an email to the business user, checking the incident in terms of its severity and priority, whether it has been rightly set as per the incident priority matrix, and then assign it to yourself as a support executive and update the status as in progress. Now, if the issue is something which can be resolved shortly, you can resolve it, you can inform the user. Once he confirms, you can change the status to the incident as closed and fixed after taking the formal approval from the business user. If the issue is taking more than expected time or it due to one or the other reason, then it's your duty to keep the business users updated about the progress with regular frequency through email communication. Once the issue gets resolved, you should always seek confirmation from the user. There are also scenarios where although issue has been fixed, but the user is not providing you a confirmation. Maybe he is on leave or he is not available or due to one or the other reason. Then you can follow a 3-strike rule of sending emails 3 times at the interval of couple of days. And after 3 emails, still if you do not receive a response, then you can go ahead and close the ticket. All these things which I am telling you right now are very important to understand, and in any support engagement, any service delivery project you are working, these are the basic sanity checks you should always follow to succeed in your role. Now I am going to talk about the L3 team in a support team structure. So we also receive such kind of incidents where the fix is not something related to making some configuration changes or making some settings. Rather, it needs a code change. So whenever a code change is required to fix an issue, then the L3 team comes into picture, where the knowledge of the application is maximum for those resources, and a L3 fix can take more time to fix it. So whenever a code change gets introduced in a running application, it becomes very critical to implement the changes. There are multiple reasons of taking that extra caution. All business applications are serving to important businesses which involves financial transactions, which relates to company reputation, which also in some of the cases are bound to compliance and the law of the land. So even a single or minor change in a running application needs to be done very carefully. The usual process is to analyze the change, analyze the impact. If approved, implement the changes in the dev environment, test it thoroughly, and then getting it ready to implement it in the running application. Now, here comes the important part, and one of the very important, uh, I would say, part of ITIL and IT service management, which is known as change management. So, change management deals with taking care of each and every change which is going to be implemented in a running application. There is a formal process to follow change management, which involves different processes, different procedures, and documentation. It also involves approvals at certain stages, and every change which is going to be implemented, there is always a deployment window given by the deployment team, and it is the responsibility of the support team to inform the same to the business users well in advance through formal email communication. The change can be something where the application may go down for some time or it may not go down. In both the cases, this needs to be communicated to the users well in advance, multiple times, and at a regular frequency. As a best practice, usually the change management or the change deployment always happens during the business hours. So, for example, if you are supporting US based business users for an application, usually either you would be deploying it during India morning hours or over a weekend. So in the next time when your friend or your relative says that he is going to work over a weekend to deploy some changes, you can relate it with this knowledge. So earlier we had talked about interactions, incident management, L1, L2 and L3 teams. So now whatever is related to implementing a change for a running application is something which comes under the purview of change management. So apart from incident management, change management, we also have another concept, very important concept called problem management. Now, problem management primarily deals with those issues which have originally reported as incidents, but after a careful root cause analysis by the team, it has come out as a issue where we only have a temporary fix, but to get a permanent fix done, there is something major which needs to be implemented. The rule of thumb says if we have multiple instances of a single type of incident, or if we have recurring issues of same nature, then we should always open a problem ticket and deal it with through the principles and procedures of problem management. For problem management, the stakeholders are the supporting team, the client team, and in some cases, if there is a third party vendor also involved, that will also be the stakeholder for dealing with such tickets. Now, coming back to uh, the point initially where we started this discussion, for any support engagement or service delivery engagement, there are a good number of metrics through which the performance is measured, the efficiency is measured of the support team. Metrics are nothing but a quantifiable way to measure the performance against the targets. So some of the common metrics which are being tracked in a support engagement include your resolution time, your response time, then how many number of incident tickets have been closed in a particular time frequency, how many high severity tickets have been resolved, uh, what is the percentage of tickets which have been resolved by the L1 team or L2 team, and then there are many. So although there are certain common metrics which are tracked across different support engagements, but there is no hard and fast rule, and every organization, every client can tailor it based on best suit requirements to themselves. I am going to talk in detail about the KPIs, the metrics for a support engagement in my next video. So today I will end my video here. To summarize, we have talked in detail about the ITSM, its processes, and incident management, change management, and problem management, along with some of the best practices I have recommended to all of you based on my work experience when you work in a support engagement. I hope you have liked this video. Please do subscribe, support, and share it.